Hello and welcome to our weekly genlock review and discussion on Anime Dumpster Dive. I'm your host, Jake H., and with me, as always, is Anthony.
Hello!
Sadly, Coby could not be here with us this week. He had a prior engagement, but he will be back next week to talk about Genlock Episode 4.
Sad boy.
Yeah, now I just have Anthony here.
That's not very nice.
I know. I'm sorry, Anthony. I didn't mean it.
Nice.
But you know what is nice? Genlock.
This show. Oh my gosh. Thank God.
Really quick before we start, I just want to have a quick shout out to YouTube user Ower8x for, first off, correcting our Ruby volume 1 and 2 estimation, like length estimations. He did point out, or they did point out, that Volume 1 had 16 official episodes with the 4 shorts, and Volume 2 had 12 episodes. Mm-hmm. But they were all shorter than all these Genlock episodes. They also pointed out that Genlock is not going to have a public release, like I said in the first episode. It is just going to be a first exclusive.
It's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I thought they were doing like what they were doing with Ruby and releasing 1 week for first, and then the next week it would become like public on their site. But I then looked into it and I went, I can't believe I overlooked that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, thank you for pointing that out.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate those comments. Leave some more.
Please do. Yeah, that'd be nice. I like talking to everyone in the comments. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's get started. Episode 3 of Genlock, second birthday.
Second birthday. How appropriate, too.
Right?
I love the title and the very lighthearted feel of this particular episode. It was definitely, we definitely got our more serious moments in this episode, but I loved it. It was a good, solid episode.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really cool to see the pilots interact, because that was a big worry I had as as they got introduced. Mm-hmm. I was afraid that maybe these personalities wouldn't flow as well, but I actually loved every interaction with them. In fact, I kind of just wanted to watch a show of just them sitting in a room talking.
Yes, I was a little worried that the personality clash would be something that would be a little bothersome when they were going over, and introducing these characters. So I was definitely happy to see the collusion, popular word of the week,
collusion
between the. I was happy to see that the teamwork between all of these characters, is definitely starting off a little shaky, but I can see that it's going to grow. It's going to grow into something a big, tall, and strong in the form of a big, sexy mech.
Sexy.
Go
ahead.
Like Voltron.
Like Voltron. God, you and your references of things you don't know.
Yep.
I do like that the mechs kind of have this cheap look to them at first, because they're just like the skeleton for it. And he goes, right. Well, we could only afford to mass produce one skeleton. So that's how come everyone's skeleton is the same height. And that's how come their center of gravities are all different. Mm-hmm. And one line I just want to point out that I just loved is before Cassie goes into her hold on, she tells Kazu that if she doesn't make it, he can have her manga collection.
Yeah.
And he goes, I haven't read one, racist. Two, two, he goes, I haven't read manga since I was a kid. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And then gosh. Transfers over. And man, what a cool way to do a mech show.
Oh, yeah.
Because, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's just, a solid way to have the characters move. Not to have the characters move, but to have the mechs do human-like movement. Is that basically this is their body. Their consciousness has been moved into their bodies.
Yeah. I'm worried, though, on that particular vein of thought. I'm worried that we're going to get if you die in your mech, you die for reals.
I'm thinking that we're going to get somebody trapped in the mech. because he says, Dr. Weller says, we're getting dangerously close. Like, he goes, I don't want to get dangerously close to like, I can't remember what he calls it, but he says like, he says a specific thing, and it kind of sounds like if you stay in your mech too long, your mind merges with the mech, and you can't come back.
Crap! What was that called? Shoot,
can't remember.
I can't remember it either. I know what scene you're talking about, though.
And I'm a big fan of the Animorphs series, and that was kind of like the first thing in like the first 2 books, is that if you stay an animal for more than like 30 minutes, you're stuck like that. Mm-hmm. And like one of the characters, Tobias, actually gets stuck as a like falcon for like the whole series, and so that's where I think that like one of the characters might get stuck in the mech for at least a bit. I think that might be a plot point. I think that not in these first 8 episodes, but in a future episode.
I know that there was a bit of speculation going on down in our comment section in episode 2.
Oh, about the
particular topic.
The black mech.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That is a YouTube user Quing. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, they said that maybe Sinclair is stuck in the black mech.
I like that.
Like we do see the skeleton of the mech that he was jumping into is there. So maybe like it makes me want to watch the opening to see if the black mech does like any like coin flippy thing.
It's him. It's
him.
The dead giveaway
right there. I see it.
Gosh, so perfect.
So another thing we want to bring up, not even though Coby's not here, Coby does have something that he'd like us to touch on, and it is him essentially building on to his tin hat theory that Dr. Weller is going to be the ultimate big bad, and he wants to point out that Dr. Weller says something along the lines of genlock was initially meant to unite everyone before the military got a hold of it. Mm-hmm. And he's saying it's the next step in human evolution. So I think Coby's theory, like mind jumping, is that like Dr. Weller's trying to get everyone to be giant robots.
See, and like I took that. I had the same thought when he said this. I was like, oh God, Coby's right. But the biggest thing that I want to touch on is I don't feel that was the direction that the dialogue was going. I personally felt like Dr. Weller is involved in pursuing means of, kind of developing human society as like a whole, no. And he says it specifically too, that oh gosh, what does he say? He says that genlock is going to be the forefront of human evolution. And like I just remember that particular line because, oh God, is that line specifically overused? But like that to me doesn't necessarily have the big baddie type of feel to it, right? Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know, I might be wrong, but like I just feel like that particular trope is overused. It's like, oh yeah, well the scientist was behind it all along. I'm hoping that we're getting just the wacky. This is our wacky scientist that we've been waiting for David Tennant to play. So,
yeah, it's we'll see. We'll see. I'll definitely say that line. I thought of it as a more malicious line, like
foreboding.
I was just like, damn it, fucking Coby's right, and now I couldn't watch the rest of the episode. Until it kind of revealed when he purposely put them by the refugees. I was like, oh, okay, Dr. Weller's a good guy. Fun fact, Anthony, I didn't know if you noticed. Lawrence Sonntag made his debut in genlock.
I did not know that. What character was he?
He's the AI that teleports in. And,
no.
Yeah, and he goes, you teleport into my lab again, I'm going to rewrite you singing Gilbert, and like to speak only Gilbert and Sullivan quotes. And he does when he comes back. I'm like, that's fantastic. I was like, Lawrence had 2 lines.
It was perfect. Oh, seriously. I'm putting on my tinfoil hat again. In the first episode, I talked about how Michael B. Jordan was going to be playing basketball in the mech.
I hate you. Theory. You did say he was going to play basketball in the mech. Damn it. Oh, wow.
Anthony's right, too. All right, Coby? Anthony's right, too.
I like how we all dismissed you. Like, oh, yeah, playing basketball in the mech, bro.
Yeah, right.
It happened. I like that.
Too funny.
I like that he has that aim assist.
Yeah. It's funny.
The game, the capture the flag game that they did was really cool. I thought that was a quick way to get us to be introed into those three characters' like personalities. Like clearly, Ida-san is going to be. I keep wanting to call him Ida-san just because that's what he does, but I know it's honorific and it's going to make me look like a huge fucking weeb, so I'm going to try to just call him Kazu.
Yeah.
So, like, we can tell, like, Kazu's more of a, like, headstrong kind of guy. Like, he just runs in, like, when he grabs Cassie's neck and uses her as a shield.
Yeah. And, I want to say, do they have, I guess this is kind of speculation, too, do they have pain receptors while in the mechs?
I think they do, because I think one of them said ow, like, right when they fell down.
That particular scene, Cassie's going, ow, oh, ow, oh, ow.
Yeah.
So that also jumped back to the first episode when frickin' Spicy Lady gets stabbed through the stomach.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Well, I think pain receptors is different than physical harm.
Okay.
Because then it would make no sense to put your mind in a mech. Right.
We're getting very Matrixy, that in that particular type of vein of thought. So I'm curious.
I think pain, like, I forgot what show had it, but, like, because someone's like, why put pain receptors in a robot that you're controlling from far away? And it's like, well, because that way it makes you understand. It makes you, like, understand the danger of, like, what you're doing, or else you'll just run in willy-nilly, like, woo, robot, and, like, get it destroyed.
Yeah.
But if you go, ooh, robot, and you get hit in the head, you go, oh, okay, all right. Robot head's there. Don't want to get my head fucked up.
Okay, so maybe it's there as, like, a training protocol first.
Maybe, I don't think even, like, a training protocol, but just to be aware of your surroundings.
Okay.
Just to have that.
That is true, because Dr. Weller talks about that too. He's like, these are your bodies. This is you're moving this, with your brain. So that is kind of a cool tie-in. So
yeah, so that's how I think that that's tied. That that's what's going on with those mechs. We had so last episode I kind of was I applauded, but I also kind of shat on the Miranda Chase relationship.
Yeah.
This episode proved to me that maybe I'm more invested in the relationship than I cared to admit, because we had the guy voiced by Chad from Screw Attack. I can't remember his name. I just know Chad from Screw Attack voices him.
I don't remember his name either.
But he Chase is doing some
He's becoming a basketball superstar.
Yeah,
that's what
he's playing basketball, and he zooms in on him, and he hears him talk, and he says something like, "Well, are you going to tell him about us?" I was like, "What the fuck, bud? The fuck you say, bud?" And so, I felt for Chase there, and I'm like, "Son of a bitch!"
Yeah.
Like they got me, and I didn't know they got me to care about that relationship. Yeah. And Chase fucking does not hold back when he shows off.
No, that's the truth.
And the fucking music during that part, Genlock's music's great so far. I'm really digging it.
And I have to give credit where credit is due, because, man, the animators for not only Genlock, but for Ruby, first and foremost, they tapped into that really big, powerful, soundtrack with stunning animation, and they just killed it. They killed it in this particular transition, so I loved it.
And again, fuck, man, I swear, I feel like the things I say just make me feel like I'm not enjoying certain things. I love Ruby, but this one sequence in Genlock, you felt the weight of the mech. You felt the mech being heavy.
Right.
in like all of its movements. And that's something I've never I never got from Ruby. I feel like everyone's made out of helium.
Right.
I feel like everyone is flying everywhere, and I'm just like,
Right.
okay.
Right.
But with this, it's like I like you see him jump onto the walls and bounce around, and it's like you feel it, and you just see it, and it's great. And like it adds this realism to this series, this sci-fi series, and I'm just loving every minute of it.
Yeah, I like how you just put that. Like, it really does. It grounds it in reality, in the sense that, like, you know, as far as a sci-fi, you know, anime is concerned, it definitely grounds it in that particular sequence. So.
And I had one more thing I wanted to bring up that I can't seem to remember right now. I'm sure it'll jump out to me and it'll be a flawless edit.
Very true. Very true. I like the dialogue in this episode. I think it was very not heavily centered, but definitely centered around Dr. Weller's intentions. Mm-hmm. Like, thankfully, we got a lot of scenes with him interacting specifically with the general too. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, and then it kind of really demonstrates the toll of this particular war and how it's affecting those that are involved, especially in the form of the general and Dr. Weller. I'm sorry, I can't remember the general's name.
Neither can I. I just know she's voiced by Monica Ryle.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, that being said, you know, like, that's kind of leads me to play the other side of the field on that kind of topic, that Dr. Weller's the bad guy. It's like, why would he be trying so hard then?
Again,
you know?
Yeah, I felt like as soon as he showed, I was distrusting of him, and then as soon as it revealed that he purposely put them there to be motivated by the refugees, I went, all right, he's a good guy. He's good,
you know, and just demonstrating just the quality of his work. Like, David Tennant does a killer job on that. Very, you know, it was an intense monologue that he. You know, I thought the voiceover was great. You know, there at the end, he's like talking about how war is indiscriminate. Like, hey, there's my heartstrings. You're pulling on them. Like, in that sense, like, I thought that like, again, to applaud, you know, Gray, it's written extremely well.
Yes, the writing in this is fantastic. And I remember what I wanted to say. While the writing is fantastic, the delivery of these lines is getting better. Like, not that David Tennant was bad, like, at all at the beginning. I felt like really great here, but I feel like this episode was so far been the height of everyone's performances. Yeah, because Macy Williams is doing amazing.
Oh, she's killing it.
But like the one person who's consistently had lines in every episode is Michael B. Jordan, and I felt like this episode was like, I forgot Chase was voiced by Michael B. Jordan. Right. Because I thought he was Chase. Like, I felt like this was the most natural delivery so far. Yeah. Again, it could be that Miranda had like 3 lines, and so Dakota Fanning wasn't sweeping me off my feet. Right. But everyone, like, I thought everyone was great. Like, I felt like that everyone was emoting through just their voices fantastic. Like, you felt like Chase be mad when he goes, how about you let a pro do it? And like, they're like, what are you doing? He's like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh my God, he's pissed. And I love it.
Oh yeah. You know, and I definitely like the dialogue in between Veronica and, oh no, Spicy Lady. What is her name? Shoot.
Are you saying did you call Veronica Valentina? I mean, did you call
Valentina? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Valentina and the Spicy Lady.
I don't like that you keep calling her Spicy Lady.
She's spicy.
She's spicy.
She's spicy.
Oh my God.
Anyways, I like the dialogue when they're all sitting, you know, and then they're kind of talking about the reason why they're there, you know, and she gives each of the pilots an option. She says, "Okay, you can freaking leave. You don't have to stay," you know, and then Dr. Weller pops in, and he also adds in kind of that, you know, that little bit of dialogue. Like, I loved this, like, that particular scene, you know, and they're talking about like what drives them and how involved they are in the Union. And like I mentioned before, this kind of shows like the toll that this conflict is taking on just about everybody, and what their own motivations are. It's the form of not only physical character growth that we see in the form of the mechs, but personal character growth as well. Like, I'm just loving how they're fleshing out these characters. They're doing it in the best way.
Yeah, it's Yasmin Madrauni.
Yasmin, aka Spicy Lady.
She's shaping up to being one of my favorite characters, just because she seems so deep so early. And that's because, like, they bring up, they're like, you're a former freaking Union spy. And she goes, that wasn't my Union. Like, this isn't my Union. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, that just, again, we talked about this with Coby. We know very little about the background of this universe. And it seems like maybe this, like, Union that Yasmin was a part of has changed drastically in view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
While I like that, I'm just hoping it's not too similar to the White Fang from RWBY, because that's like kind of Blake's whole deal, was that she was part of the White Fang, and then the White Fang was more peaceful until someone took over and changed it. And so I'm just hoping it's not kind of a rehash of that. I'm hoping it's deeper than that. Right,
well, gosh, what do I even want to call them? They weren't like a humanitarian group, but they were definitely an advocate group that went, that was scorned, and now we're having to recoup from their actions. That's what I'm hoping. On that same vein of thought, I'm hoping that we don't get that.
I'm hoping that it was like a terrorist organization type deal, that she was like, oh yeah, I was part of that, right? But then it changed into, like, maybe instead of targeting like pure military, they started targeting innocents, and that's why she backed off. But we'll see. And it does allude to other characters, like backgrounds, like Kazu says that he doesn't, like, he's like, oh, I'd rather go back to my unit, and I would never say that.
Right.
And Valentina is like, this isn't nuts, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like, this is all crazy. And so it's definitely going to be fun to see where all this stuff like converges.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I'd say that too, to try and support that statement too. It's like the nanotech. This is just going back to Valentina's kind of background as well as Yasmin's background. That, like, perhaps Yasmin was involved in the Union, and like the nanotech just grew into something that became more disastrous. As well, because up until this point, there was a conflict prior to the one that we're witnessing right now. So there was this peace, between the Union and, what do they call the other group? Oh, poop.
The Vanguard.
Vanguard, yeah. Between the Union and the Vanguard. So, I mean, like, I'd like to see it develop into something a little deeper, to support that as well. So, but I mean, that being said, going back to how great their own character motivations are, like, I hope that they delve just a little bit deeper. That's what I would like to see. Because right now, it's Coby had mentioned in the first episode, this is a very faceless enemy that I know nothing about.
Uh-huh. And I think that's what we're going to get with Yasmin. I think she's going to start providing that face. Or not that, no, she's not going to be the face, but she's going to start providing some insight to more of what the Union is.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like, so far, the first episode, kind of, we're like, oh, well, we're going to clearly get the pilots in the next episode, and then the episode of that, we're going to have to get them training. But I don't know what episode 4 is. Episode 4 is going to be the halfway mark.
Yeah, episode 4 should be, I'm probably guessing that it's going to be either evacuation, just because Dr. Weller hints at having to move this group, or this will be our time skip episode.
And then there'll
episode
be
4.
We'll get them, and they'll be like more used to their stuff.
Yeah, I would say that episode 4 might be, and this is again all based on speculation, this very well might be our time lapse scene. Like, we get the montage, they're designing their mechs, they're going through, and they're like, like learning how to physically use them, and like adding their own personal spin. I think that it's going to be episode 4.
I think strictly just based off the opening and how late their designed mechs show up in the opening, that we won't see those until episodes 6, 7, 8-ish.
Ooh, okay.
I think we're getting boxy mechs in a mission at next episode.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get like a very easy mission in their really boxy mechs, and it's going to escalate to not an easy mission.
Okay. I like that. I'd be fine either way. I think that the pacing, as far as like both of the descriptor episodes that we've kind of just laid out, I think that as far as pacing is concerned, I think it's going to work out great.
Yeah.
You know, either way, I'm invested. I'd like to see episode 4.
Yeah, I'm in no way worried about pacing just based off these first 3 episodes. I feel like no way am I going, oh my god, we're halfway through and nothing has happened. I'm like, oh fuck, we're halfway through next episode. That's no.
Right.
So yeah. All right. Thank you so much for listening to these reviews. We are going to release one every week. The Saturday after the episode has been released on the Rooster Teeth site. Anthony, how about you tell them where they can find us?
You can find us right in the descriptors below. Please tweet us with any genlock factoids and or questions that you have. Maybe we can spitball some items and go over, what's episode 4 gonna look like. That would be great. And in case you didn't know, you could hit that subscribe button. We're also doing a bi-weekly release of the most controversial show on the anime network right now. Shield Hero, Rising of the Shield Hero. It's the Rising of the Shield Hero.
And if you would like to catch up with Coby and see what he's been doing, you can find him over at on the Nerd Blaze. They are currently doing a weekly watch of The Promised Neverland.